This video is brought to you by Squarespace. What's up, my movers and shakers? I'm Dave, this is MS Paints, and this is the coolest way to display your skirmish teams. So a few weeks ago I picked up a bundle of these cheap MDF plinths from eBay with a mind to see what I could do with them down the line. They're about £2 each, which is a bit of a no-brainer to me. And the first idea I had was to create a mini skirmish kill team diorama based thing that allows the models to be removed and put back for display and play. While a lot of this is scratch Basin, I've been sent a care package courtesy of the lovely peoples at epicbasin.com. I asked for a handful of stuff in the urban and rural ranges and they were cool with that. All of them came pre-supported and printed hassle-free, so thank you guys and check them out to make your Basin accessorizing just a little bit easier. If you've got a 3D printer, that is. The first thing that I think I have to do is to raise the overall base level of the MDF with a ground layer, like a ground cover, to be level with the bases, so that when they sit in flush. I think I'm going to go with sculptor mold because I know, in theory, I should be able to cut the shapes of the bases back out afterwards. Hopefully. No, of course not. While it's easy enough to carve out the holes for the bases to sit, it's not exactly neat and tidy. I suspect if I left this stuff for an hour to cure and got a large enough drill bit to match the base sizes, I'd have a much easier time. But for the sake of this project, it's sufficient enough level of quality, I think. While I'm hacking lumps out, I might as well slice these edges flush with the plinth. Less messy, very satisfying. Okay, so I have the main base assembled. Yeah, it's definitely not as pretty as I would like it to be. But for the first time ever, I seem to have not ruined one of these cheap MDF bases in the first 5 minutes of making a thing. So that's good. All the bits from Epic Bases put on there. Hopefully I can get all those to blend with the ground cover. So I am going to move on to the texturing phase. I'm going to use a fair amount of different materials for this. You could, in theory, just grab yourself a cheap bag of builder's sand. It's like 15 kilos for £5 from a garden centre. However, I don't happen to have that, and I didn't fancy picking any up today and dragging it with me. So even though I'm going to use different materials, like I've got sand from an actual beach that I took. I have the Geek Gaming range, which is a load of different size grits of sand. I have some tile grout, which is going to be used to essentially sprinkle over the top and blend the larger and the smaller grit sands together to give us a more dirt to scale feeling. Okay, I'm gonna crack on with that because I am running out of time. Right, cool. What are you doing, bro?
Huh? What does it look like I'm doing? I'm picking up your slack and working on the MS Paints website.
You?
What? Yeah, why?
Well, you're
What?
Well, you're
Technophobe?
Yeah.
Aesthetically dysfunctional?
Yeah.
Ha! Well, none of that matters because the in-browser tools that come with Squarespace allow me to create the perfect website in minutes. Without any prior knowledge of web design, I can pick from a template and get started building the website of my dreams. Want to get started on your first website? Head to squarespace.com/MSPaints and use the code MSPaints at checkout to get a 2-week free trial and save 10% off your first order of a website subscription or a domain name.
Did you just read that off a script?
I did.
Did you enjoy it?
I may have done.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
Excellent.
To further ensure I don't ruin this MDF base, I'm brushing clean all the crap that's gone everywhere, and I'm remasking the surface. As usual, we pre-wet the surface with isopropyl alcohol and water. This breaks the surface tension and allows the way thicker watered down PVA to penetrate the materials and fix everything in place as it dries. People ask me about this quite a bit actually, because they've gone straight to the PVA and they wonder why it hasn't sunk in and it doesn't work. It's all about that surface tension breaker. Leave that sucker a good 12 hours to dry. Okay, so I let it dry overnight and it has gone completely concrete, rock solid, which is what we want. That's going to take us into the dry brushing phase pretty nicely. A couple of fun details on here that I didn't mention earlier, which is the station road sign, which is the street I used to live down like 15, 16, 18, Christ, half years ago. But also on the same website, which lets you design signs with custom fonts and bevels and all that shit. For completely free STL downloads. I also made like a 77th Regiment sign thing, which didn't print off especially well at all. I think the lift speed was too fast. Left it overnight, and there's like a big line through the middle. Still going to use it anyway because it's a nice example. Another thing that I've noticed, which is a great thing, is when you put the multiple sealant layers on, you actually end up sort of bridging the gap slightly more between your grit strengths of sand, so the large stuff and the fine stuff, it's kind of smoothed over just that little bit, which helps with the scaling issues that people often run into with sand. So yeah, I'm gonna take this outside, I'm gonna prime it up and get painting and hopefully be done this afternoon on this lovely little project. So yeah. These are going to be our choices of colours to dry brush with. Mostly dark through to light greys, but some browns and tan colours in there to add some variation. I use a mixture of techniques, starting out with overbrushing on the darker colours and stippling on the muddy colours, and then gradually dry brushing lighter and lighter layers as our greys get brighter. I usually reserve my pure whites for sharp edges, but the whole process is about diminishing contrast jumps between the darkest and lightest points. The contrast, sure, yeah, it still needs to be there, but we want the spaces between it to be filled with intermediary colours. Enamel washes are always a good way to add some splashes of colour. Once these washes are on, you have a couple of days at max to go back and dilute them with white spirit. This is perfect for a quick turnaround like this because the level of blending and transitions that you are going to achieve is perfect for the amount of time that we're going to invest. What is a terrible idea, however, is throwing on a series of Games Workshop shades because they actually murdered all of the dry brushing and basically reset me back to a blue-black. That is pretty hardcore. I didn't know that they could be that stiff. This was such a fun little experiment, and I can't wait to do more themed around the kill team or the skirmish team that's going to inhabit the future plinths. Sure, there's a few things I need to iron out, but I think I've got a good start. Big thank you for watching, and massive thanks to my Patreon community who have been very patient while I crunch out all these sponsor deadline videos. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out. Much love, cheers, I'm out of here.